This is Runzi. You're watching CoStar. We have one of the most exciting cars for you today. Let's roll the clip. Did you guys miss us? I know we've been absent for the past couple of weeks because you know why? It's been raining every single day here in Toronto. April showers bring May flowers, but it is May, it is still showering. I have not seen any flowers, so I have no idea what's going on here, and we don't want to wait any longer. And we're bringing you here the 2018 Grand Cherokee Trackhawk, a car that we wanted to do for the longest time and we couldn't get our hands on. Thank you to Mike from Cookfield Dodge for letting us borrow this wonderful beast. Hello, 707 horsepower over here for a review, and yeah, I just cannot wait to show you guys everything that this car packs. Did you know YC actually owns the 2016 Grand Cherokee Limited? He bought it brand new for about $50K in the Canadian market. This car is about $120K in the Canadian market. So side-by-side comparison, I want you guys to know what the differences are between the regular Grand Cherokee and the Trackhawk. Of course, the nose, as you can see, is a little bit smaller. Why? Because they need more air inside. We have a 6.2 liter V8 supercharged Hemi engine right underneath the hood. Crazy amount of powers. And another notable feature for the front bumper are the fog lights. As you can see, there are no fog light options, period, for the Trackhawk. Why? Once again, because air needs to go in. Everything is functional on the front bumper of the Trackhawk. And another notable feature, below it, right on the center, you have the radar sensor for your adaptive cruise control. I do believe you can also get the sensors or the radar sensors for the SRT. And last but not least, you have the front lip painted in black and no lip. As you can see, you gotta pay to play, YC. And last but not least, looking at the front, you can notice that this Trackhawk is a little bit lower than the regular Grand Cherokee. Tires more fatter as well. We have 295s on the Trackhawk and 265s in the regular Grand Cherokee Limited. YC, you gotta pay to play, man. When are you gonna upgrade? Now my favorite part, the profile of the Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. That's where all the true aggression of this car comes into play. Number one is the big 15 3/4 inch Brembo brakes right behind the wheel. 20-inch wheels all around, square setup, and you have a set of 295 45/20s Scorpion inverted tires. Pretty nice for the Trackhawk. I do wish, however, the rotors would have slotted, maybe drilled. I do see one small slot over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, but not too many on the rotors, but still intrusive and in your face enough. And right behind it, you have the Grand Cherokee supercharged badge. Love it, and love it. And as you can see, me and the car behind it, how big and wide this car is, even though it's only a mid-size SUV. So if you're unfamiliar with the entire lineup of the trims of the Grand Cherokee lineup, you have Limited, Loretto, High Altitude, SRT, just a bunch of names. I'm not even sure myself, right? But this one is the king of all kings. But you can still get confused if you don't know that this car is a Trackhawk. Why? Because the badging over here says Trackhawk, but the Trailhawk almost have the exact same badging. So you have to really take a closer look to know this is the Trackhawk. Don't ever call anyone with a Trackhawk a Trailhawk, because they paid $120K to not be called the Trailhawk. But anyways, very notable at the rear side of the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk are the black badge over here, silver for the rest of the trims. And below it, you have your quad exhaust painted in black. But one very notable and interesting fact is that they've added additional mufflers to really quiet the car down. Because at the end of the day, even though this is a monster mid-size SUV, they still need the luxury and comfort and quietness in the cabin for you and your family. And what bothers me about this car is that it does not have hands-free power liftgate. Doesn't work. So you have to press this button over here and the trunk will open. Looking at the rear trunk, like any midsize SUV, very spacious. You have your little shade over here if you can open up and latch it. And underneath, you have 2 additional storage compartments to hide some stuff. Out of sight, out of mind. But I want to show you guys how the rear seats fold, because I think that's a very convenient part that not a lot of people notice about the Trackhawk or Grand Cherokees in general, right? So I'm just finding this information as I go. Once I got the car, some information I can't really find on the interweb. And once you notice these small details, it adds value and convenience in your life. And you're like, oh wow, this is why this car is 120K. So the rear seats fold 60-40, and there's 2 levers on both ends of the seats. It's a very simple upwards, and this entire seat just folds down so effortlessly. So you don't have to reach in with the latches in some of the other seats. So I think this kind of mechanism that the Trackhawk did really added convenience, really added simplicity for me to fold the rear seats. I know it sounds silly, but to me, it adds brownie points. And the interior of the Trackhawk has a lot of nice touches here and there, and definitely a lot more information on the infotainment system. But let's talk about the comfort first. Of course, you have your leather seats, power adjustable memory seat, pretty standard for any car in this price range. Leather wrapped steering wheel with the Trackhawk badge right underneath it. Paddles feel very nice onto your hands, not too far for you to reach. I do wish at this kind of performance level, they will have the Lamborghini paddle shifter, just so big and intrusive into your face, right? This car is also equipped with Harman Kardon audio system, very nice, crisp for you and your kids to enjoy. And there's additional carbon trims here that follows across the panels and into the rear seats. Up ahead, you do have your soft touch kind of a fabric headliner done in black. This part over here, the A-pillar, is done in Alcantara. I like this, nice simplicity touch over here. But let's talk about the infotainment system, because there's so much information in here and I want to go into details because I'm so amazed that the Trackhawk actually can pack this much information. Some of the standard features, you have your navigation, very standard colors, not too bad. Responsiveness, a little bit slight delay, but not too bad. You have your rear view camera. The lines turn with it when you turn the wheels. You do have also your heated steering wheel, all that kind of nice stuff. But what's cool about the infotainment system right now is that you can hold any of this button over here and drag it down below the main buttons across the panels over here. Kind of like the iPhone, when you hold the app and you kind of reconfigure where you want the app to be, right? So I haven't experienced this in any car yet, so this is my first. Love it, love it, love it. You have your drive mode over here. And of course, you can turn or select your drive mode with the scroll over here. You have your tow, snow, sport, and track. And beside it, you have your drive modes that you can press and select the different kind of drive mode that will show up onto your screen, or you can do it custom, whatever you want it to be. I love how they have the graphic design for the custom setting over here, or the you can see your suspension, all that kind of stuff. The icons are great, and I just don't see this in cars ever, period. So I'm very fascinated and very amazed at the design elements, the functionality, the information, everything that the Trackhawk packs. But here's my favorite thing on the infotainment system is the performance pages. It takes a bit to load, maybe like 10-15 seconds, but this triumphs over any gauges or digital gauges I've ever seen in cars. As you can see, you have your home, timer over here, 0 to 60 feet, 200 kilometers an hour, like how long it will take you to get there. So there's a lot of things that you can track. And additionally, you can save it and click on this camera icon over here, and it will take a snapshot just in case your friends don't believe you. Post that stuff on social media, post stuff on Facebook, and embarrass. This car will beat the Cayenne Turbo, the X5M, no problem. 707 horsepower, even more impressive numbers than the Lamborghini Urus. Urus, I don't even know. You can see gauges over here, boost pressure, and there's about 9 things you can take a look at, and everything here, guys, is customizable, so you can see whatever information that's valuable to you right in front of you. I care about oil pressure, I care about oil temperature, I care about steering angles, all that kind of stuff that can be displayed right in front of you, and customize it to me, to you, to whoever's driving with it. And G-Force has its own individual screen over here, pretty nice. Engine, different scrolls. Nobody else, I'm just so amazed, nobody else has this design and layout in their cars. And one of my favorite things on the performance pages is the dyno, kind of like a heart beating thing, heart tracking monitor, heart, whatever it is. It just tracks like that. It kind of like an actual dyno when you bring your car to the dyno machine and see what numbers you get, right? So this, wow, like I am absolutely amazed. Below it, you have your dual zone climate control, these buttons. This section over here can be found in the other trims of the Grand Cherokee, so I'm not going to talk about that. Here's something that's very, very, very key and important is the transmission gear selector. As you can see, it's a stick, right? Before you have your mushroom top. Do you guys remember that? That will return to this original position after you select something, so it doesn't. There's no movement. You move it back, you move it forward. So the issue with that is, and I will include the link down below in our comment section where we got the information from, is that somebody with the previous years with the mushroom top transmission gear selector actually got involved in an accident on the highway, and Jeep or Fiat Chrysler did a lot of recalls, maybe more than 1 million vehicles recall for any vehicle with the mushroom top transmission gear selector. So a lot of faulty movements, and even back when I sat in my other friend's car with the mushroom top, I didn't like it at all, right? So I wasn't sure which gear I was on, so I was always switching it and checking it right after just to make sure I'm in the correct gear. So then by having it back to the regular stick shift, you know, that's my personal preference as well, so I like that. And open up over here, you have some USB cords, and in auxiliary imports you have 2 USB cords over here, and you can see the lights up once you open this panel over here. Pretty cool in a nice ambient blue color. This car I do wish would have the optional wireless charging function. That to me in any car is important. Doesn't matter if you're driving a Lamborghini or whatever, I do want that option as my personal preference in any car that I buy or drive as a daily basis. And last but not least, this will link to the rear seats. Open up the center armrest. You can see where you can put your Blu-ray disc player. I mean, what do you guys think? I see a lot of cars with the Blu-ray disc right underneath the center console over here, but Grand Cherokee kind of hides it in the center armrest, which kind of removes a lot of space or things you can store in the center, right? So this will hide away from the kids, sure, so that they don't play with it, but if you're not familiar with the platform, you may not even know that this is right here. Now the rear is where the party starts if you have a family or kids. I mean, for me, I would probably give the Challenger Hellcat, but if you have a family, babe, I don't want a Challenger Hellcat. You know what? I got you the perfect solution. I got the Trackhawk for the family. You know, nice, simple, and quiet, comfortable ride as a day-to-day basis. And when they're out of the car, I'm gonna have some fun because this car has 707 horsepower. In the rear seats, you have your 2 TVs over here for both passengers. In the middle, you have your heated seats function, and again, 2 additional USB charging ports for your phones or whatever. And you have an actual outlet where you can plug in stuff right underneath it. So as you can see on both sides of the front seats, there's our additional HDMI cables and outlets, right? So I think you can probably plug in a PS4 or Xbox here and actually play in the rear seats of the Trackhawk. Who knows? What is the first thing you do when you buy a Trackhawk, guys? It is launch this car. There's a nice little launch button right beside the scroll over here. Hit that. Thankfully enough, this car is about 9,400 kilometers, but if you buy this car brand new, it won't let you do launch control until you pass 500 miles. So good little protection on the engine there, very smart. So first things first, seatbelts, safety very important. Second things, make sure the road is wide and open for you to do launch control. Third, put this car on drive, first gear, turn on sport mode or track mode, whatever you feel like, and hit that launch button. As you can see, there's a screen right in front of you that will tell you to apply brake pressure. So I'm going to apply brake pressure with my left leg. Launch enabled, okay? Launch enabled. And then it will tell you to apply full throttle. Before we launch this car, guys, one additional very nice information for the Trackhawk is you can set your launch control RPM. Currently, we have it set at 2,000 RPM, which means that when the throttle is engaged at 2,000 RPM, this car will launch. You can set a little bit higher to 3,500 or as low as 1,000. So I think 2,500 should be good enough for the exhilaration. So let's go, guys. Let us go. So hit on that launch, apply brake pressure. 1, 2. Oh, I've never sat in a car that honestly gave me this kind of emotion and experience, period. Even when we launched the Cayman GTS, the Macan Turbo, the M850, it's a completely different experience. But let's see how this car will do on regular roads. I'm still a little bit shaking after all that launch control we just did. Woo! We're about to take this car onto the 427. I know we always take our cars on busy areas, but you know what? That kind of really puts you as a consumer on how and where you will drive this car on a day-to-day basis, right? So take this car onto the 407, see how this car will do on some local roads, on highway roads, and see how this car do. What do we have here? We have a 6.2 liter V8 supercharged Hemi engine pushing out 707 horsepower and 645 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers are insane. So hard to hear of in an SUV at this price range. I mean, I don't know what other SUVs can beat those numbers. If you know, let me know, because I don't know. X5M, X6M, a Cayenne Turbo, Lamborghini Urus, they don't have this kind of numbers, which is insane that you can get it at this price range. I mean, 120 is still a lot of money, but if you compare value to everything all slapped together, this car packs everything that you need in terms of sport utility, comfort, and family orientation with great technology in there as well. So I'm just so amazed. I thought this car was honestly in like maybe the 180, 200,000 range, but 120 or entry 100s, I think is a great price. This car is also paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission with the manual driving mode, which is the paddle shifters. For the SRT, it is a 6.4 liter Hemi engine, so this one is about 0.2 displacement smaller, but packs a lot more power because of the supercharge. So we're on the off-ramp of the 427 North, and immediately I can hear the whining from the supercharger. It's such a pleasant sound, guys. The exhaust sounds absolutely tremendous. The whining sounds so fantastic because of the supercharger. Love it, love it, love it. We did notice on corners, there's actually significant amount of body roll, so I wouldn't push this car too hard on corners, but I will push the hell out of this car on a straight line. Of course, you have all-wheel drive in this car. Can't expect anything less at this price range. Hello? And this car, I was telling YuChen, they came out with this car because they have the optional Demon, Hellcat, Challenger, Charger. Now they want a family portion or a family version of the 707 horsepower engine or the horsepower option. So I think Grand Cherokee or Jeep has done a fantastic and smart move by putting this motor in the Grand Cherokee lineup on top or beyond the SRT. Just in case that you have a family and they don't want you to have a coupe, you can keep your wife happy, you can keep your kids happy, and I feel like once Durango will adapt to this engine, nobody else can really touch Jeep in terms of their lineup. third row seating, no problem. You want to have some fun, no problem. Now, comfortably seating the entire family with the TV in the back so kids can be entertained while they're going to school or whatever. Arriving style, the exterior styling of this car, beautiful. So I really don't think anything else could be improved upon on this car. I mean, the dash is very simple to me, like the Audis, BMWs, and Mercedes, but it's enough. It gave me a feeling that no other car has given me, period. Of the exhilaration, the MA50, great, fun car. Cayman GTS, great, fun car, but this is a completely different ball game. And additional technology, you have things like adaptive cruise control, pairing that with the radar sensor. Oh, even at low RPM, the supercharger whines, and it's never a sound of annoyance. It's always a sound of pleasantry. Love this sound, and it's so profound at the driver's seat. And I can't even imagine what this car sounds like on the outside of this car, just blowing past by you. Actually, no, don't add that in. Yo, cut that. Yo, don't add that in. I'm a little bit too excited. And I just like how this car, as a whole overall car, in summary, still adds a subtleness, because people don't really expect 707 when looking at this car from the exterior. And that's when you will give them the ultimate surprise. And I gotta be honest with you guys, for anyone who is not really familiar with this kind of power and you get into it right away, I think you're not gonna feel very confident driving this car. You're gonna feel like this car is broken, or this car is not worth the money, or whatever, X, Y, and Z. I think for anyone who has experienced, 200 horsepower, into 400, into 500, and then 700, so you understand what different level of power each car does, and what kind of punch, what kind of reaction, what kind of steering, what kind of control you need as a driver to be able to hone this power, to be able to understand this power. Even for me, 707 from the launch control, even slightly ever touching the throttle, this car just goes. So everything's more sensitive, everything's more reaction oriented, but I just feel like you need different levels. So don't get into this car right away if you haven't experienced anything like that before, or even in the 400, 500 power range. Does that kind of make sense, guys? You let me know. Oh, what an eventful and heart-pounding, exhilarating day this has been with the monstrous Trackhawk 707 horsepower. But thank you so much, Mike from Cooksville Dodge, for letting us experience this. I don't even know what this car can call it. It's just so much fun to be inside this car. And if you're looking for a new Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, Fiat, whatever car that you're looking at, make sure you stop by Mike's at Cooksville Dodge. My name is Runzi. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help us reach to our first milestone. No, not first milestone. Another milestone of 10,000 subscribers. And hit that like button. And I'll see you on a brand new episode of Cold Start next Saturday.